Hi friends, today we'll be discussing about the database attacks in the lecture series of ethical hacking. So these videos and the next subsequent videos, the topics will be mainly concentrating from the fifth unit as per our syllabus. So the entire fifth unit has been split into two parts. The first one is a database attacks and more the social engineering. What exactly the database attack is of, how the attackers are compromising the data once the data has been compromised. Okay, what are the different type of attacks, what are the different type of consequences that we'll be coming across. So in detail, the how the attackers are hacking the database. Okay, they may be attacking through SQL servers or else SQL injection vulnerabilities, how these SQL injection hacking tools will be implemented. Everything we'll be discussing in this first part of the fifth unit. And the second part will be mainly concentrating about the social engineering. So social engineering where as human is a social animal. So we do maintain the communication with the different type of social media, and we do have the communication. We do access different type of applications in the social media. So once we are using this social media or else any sort of friends chit chats, any sort of things, so these attackers will be gaining the knowledge about me from these social media or also from these social environment. So we'll be discussing about what are different type of social engineering, how the required person to person social engineering will be happened, computer based social engineering. Okay, how the reverse social engineering has to be implemented, what are the different type of policies and procedures. So how we are going to employ the persons, okay, by hiring, and what are the different type of termination policies has to be implemented not to have these type of attacks because of the social engineering. What are the different type of help desk processes that has to be implemented, how the password change policies has to be implemented regularly, updating the required passwords to maintain the strong passwords, how the user has to get the awareness, how the user has to get the educated about these type of attacks because that has been caused of social engineering. All the things we'll be discussing. First of all, going with the database attacks. In this database attacks, the unauthorized user will be gaining the access on the entire database. Database will be of millions terabytes of data will be maintained. Suppose Amazon Web Services, they will be maintaining a huge amount of data of different type of clients. So every company is not interested to maintain such a large amount of data. So what they will be doing, they will be dumping the data at the services like Amazon Web Service. Even Microsoft Azure also maintains a huge amount of data to its own clients. Oracle database, Oracle it will be maintaining their own databases. So a huge, even Google, Facebook, Meta, everything, they will be maintaining huge amount of data. So these particular data may be the users information, users access privileges, users sensitive information, or else a corporate sensitive information, corporate database, any sort of things. So these particular data will be illegally accessed by the attackers. They can view the data by doing the passive attacks. Not only viewing, they can modify, they can update, they can alter the data, they can alter the access privileges, they can do any sort of things by having the active attacks also. In some sort of cases, even they can steal and they can sell those particular sensitive information in the dark web. So this is how the database attacks will be occurred. Coming to the exploitation of the vulnerabilities, the attackers, what they will be doing, mainly they will be focusing on the weakness or else a poor authentication or else authorization policies or even the misconfiguration of the network or else misconfiguration of the databases also. Those things will be identified by the attackers and they will be compromising them and enter into your database and hacks that total database. This is how the things will be happened. Coming to the common attack method, These attackers mainly focus on the SQL injections. These, what the SQL injection attacks, what we have already gone through in the case of cybersecurity in the previous semesters. Okay, any communication, any requirement, what the client will be doing, they will be pumping one particular request as a query. Those particular query will be executed at the server terminal with the database that has been available, and we'll be getting the required resultant. That particular result will be used at my side to have the further actions. The SQL injection attack, one of the type, let me go in detail. The SQL injection, the queries that has been transmitted will be having different type of patches, and unwanted information will be there, and unauthorized information will be there. When these things has been triggered, okay, automatically the database will be getting compromised. This is how the attackers will be injecting the queries, injecting the attacks via the SQL injection attacks. They will be make use of the brute force attacks, that is nothing but the guessing attacks. They will be guessing what may be the username, what may be the password, okay, what may be the credentials, okay, what may be the access control policies that has been implemented. So they will be go on guessing with these things. So guessing can be happen easily once I do have a thorough information about any particular person by using some sort of social engineering attacks. These things will be discussed in the further in the coming videos. And there is a chance of having the escalation of the privilege also. I do have the privilege to access some sort of data with only view only permissions. But as an attacker like me, what I will be doing, I will be escalating my own privilege and try to access, try to edit, try to alter the data also. So there is a chance by these attackers, and there is a chance of having the malware based access also. Okay, some unwanted malware also, spywares, they will be entering into injected into the database, and thereby compromising the confidential information and leaking the data. Mainly, these attackers, they will be mainly focusing on the sensitive data. These particular sensitive data may be concerned to the personal data of every individual users. Okay, suppose if that other database has been compromised, all the thumb informations and also retinal information will be getting compromised. So financial records like credit card details, debit card details. Suppose if any transaction has been happening by using my own credit card from outside the India, there I don't have any sort of OTP facility. The transaction will be accepted and the amount will be deducted without my human intervention, without my knowledge. So these are the different type of situations, and there is a chance of having the loss of credentials and credentials related to the business information also. These particular data, high sensitive information may be compromised. So the main consequences is nothing but we will be having a great data breaches. Data may be lost, may be altered, may be updated. Financial damage may be occurred because of these things, and we may face to the legal consequences also. Let me go with a small example. Around somewhere in the year 2025, we get a situation where all the flights has been delayed for certain amount of time on a single day, and the amount of time may be of hours of duration. At that particular time, okay, all the airport authority information, like the passengers information, all the things has been maintained by the Microsoft Azure, some sort of other cloud services. So because of some sort of issue, so the Microsoft Azure cloud is not in a position to provide the total details of the boarding of the flights. Okay, now what are the customer details, everything. Because of these things, okay, the airport authority or also the service authority is not in a position to identify who the passenger is of, to who which particular passenger we have to board, everything. So because of these things, there is a delay of flights. Because of these things, not only the customers are getting suffered, the airport authority, the service providers, everything has been compromised, has been suffered. Because of that thing, as a penalty, I mean, Microsoft has paid a huge amount of dollars because of these things. Even Malaysian government has filed a complaint against Microsoft in the international court because of this particular issue. So this has been occurred because of the database hacking. So these are the different type of situations where we do have a situation of data breaches, data loss, and moreover the financial damage also. So coming to the SQL servers, generally a server will maintain a huge amount of database where these particular database can be accessed by using SQL, structured query language. So we'll be passing some sort of queries, and those particular queries will be processed, and the resultant will be given to the client. The server, what it will be doing, it not only processing the query, it will be storing the data, it will be managing the data. Okay, it will be retrieving the data as per the user requirement. Everything can be carried out by using the SQL. We'll be passing some sort of SQL commands, and by using those things, we will be retrieving the data. Okay, let me go with a small example. If I want to create a table, what I will be doing? Create table name. We'll be giving the attributes, defining the required privilege of that particular attribute also, like foreign key, primary key, and other things. Next, followed with the data. Or else we can go with the insert operation. Okay, insert into table. We'll be giving the required table name, and thereby we'll be giving the total values where they're stored. Those particular values has to be stored in which particular attributes. Okay, we can go with the alter command also. We can go with the alter. Okay, commit, delete, drop. Different type of SQL commands can be passed to manage all this particular data. So the SQL servers will maintain a centralized database in some sort of locations. Depending upon the requirement, the same data can be replicated in multiple places also in order to manage the traffic from the servers, also traffic from the number of clients. Okay, but these particular data which has been maintained at the server side will be strictly structured, whether it is in the table format. Okay, in the two-dimensional, we can go with the cubes or else cuboid architectures once we are maintaining a large amount of data in three-dimensional also. It supports the query processing, and moreover, it supports the transaction analysis. Okay, we can pass any sort of queries like select, insert, update, delete, drop, commit, rollback, create, different type of things. So these SQL will be allowing us to maintain the data always in the integral manner. Data integrity will be strictly maintained. Not only these things, the SQL server, as it is maintaining such a large amount of data, it will be maintaining the strict security features like authorization has to be maintained, authentication, which particular person is having what type of access control policies in order to maintain the required security, mostly in the case of Microsoft Azure or else what I have to say, Amazon cloud services everywhere, the data will be encrypted. Okay, only encrypted data will be maintained at the database servers so that any attacker directly accesses those particular data. So regular periodical audit has to be carried out. Okay, in order to maintain the proper reputation between the source and more of the destination, or else between the user and more over the clients, or else owners. So the regular audit has to be taken place, and we generally use the MySQL or also Microsoft SQL servers or also Oracle database. These particular applications are used in order to perform the query analysis by using SQL commands, especially on the servers. And we do have the web applications, enterprise system analytics, and reporting. All these things can be collected, can be analyzed by using the SQL servers. So once we are going with these SQL servers, okay, so there is a chance of having attacks, and these attacks will be called as SQL injection vulnerabilities. In the previously also I had said about how these injection attacks will be occurred. So in detail we will be going into the SQL injection attacks. The proper input validation, the first of all. Here it will be mainly occurred whenever the application fails to properly validate the input that has been given by the user. Okay, it may be a trapdoor, it may be the backdoors. So these things will be allowing us to enter into the database. Okay, this is how the SQL injection attack may be occurred. So the attacker will be mainly modifying the database queries by adding SQL commands through input fields like login forms, search boxes, and different type of things. And after once he has got the control, he will be gaining the unauthorized data access. He can retrieve the sensitive information, any financial records or also credential information of user, and that thing can be manipulated or modified, inserted with the new things, and depending upon his own interest, he can delete those particular records also. The best thing to avoid these SQL injection attacks is to have a prepared statements. Parameterized queries should be maintained. Once, if any input has been given by the user, it has to be properly validated. Always maintain least access privileges. So never ever give a full access privilege to all the persons who are accessing the database. Let me go with a small example. Coming to the college database. I mean, at every individual level, every user will be having certain authentication, certain authorization. So student will have the privilege to access his own data. The class in charge will have the privilege to access the entire class student section students. HOD will have the total privilege to access the entire department data. Principal will have the data access privilege to access entire instituted data. So at every individual level, as per the hierarchy, the access control policies and privileges has to be strictly defined, and those particular policies has to be strictly implemented to maintain the required security, so that we can avoid the SQL injection. So I may be having a privilege to access only the, I'm a class in charge, for example, I do have the privilege to access only my section data. But here, I will be passing one particular query saying that to access the other sections data or also other departments data. So if this query that has been sent by an attacker like me has been processed, for example, automatically we'll not be having any sort of security. So that thing has to be clearly analyzed by the ethical hackers like us. Okay, we have to strictly define the access policies. So as per that thing, the query will be addressed. The query will be, before providing the required answers, it will be analyzed whether the user is having the privilege to pass that particular query and to access the data or not. As per that thing itself, the result has to be come to the user so that we can provide the required security. So apart from these things, next we will be using different type of tools. What are the SQL injection tools that will be simply used by the attackers? We do have the automate SQL injection attacks. Okay, these tools are used to design in such a manner that it is used to detect and moreover exploit the SQL injection vulnerabilities via using the web applications. Okay, it will be making the database enumeration, gathering the information about the user's data. Okay, the attackers will identify the database structure. Okay, what is the hierarchy of that particular data? Okay, as per the hierarchy, the attacks will be occurred. Okay, they will be checking about the what are the different type of tables that has been maintained, what are the different type of tables privileges, and what is the relation between different type of tables. Okay, if by using some sort of reference keyword, if I had defined some sort of foreign table, foreign key in other table. Okay, so all this particular structure of the database will be analyzed. Okay, and columns, database names, name of the tables, everything will be extracted. Okay, so the data extraction will be done once he got the information, once he collect the information, once the table name has been known, automatically from that he can retrieve the required data. It may be there some sort of sensitive information may be there. Okay, contact numbers, personal identity numbers, any sort of things. For that thing, we do have the SQL map. It is one of the tool that has been available. Okay, and we do have the JSQL injection attacks will be there. Have seen. Okay, these are the different type of tools that has been available. So it is mainly used to check the security features also. Okay, so when the attacker is using these particular tools, okay, we will be, as an ethical hacker, we have to use different type of penetration testing policies, penetration testing methodologies, or also tools, and also we have to analyze the vulnerability assessment tools to provide the more security. So anywhere, without any sort of proper authorization, never ever give the permission to access the database, so that we can avoid these type of attacks. This is the best countermeasure that can be implemented. Thank you.
Like, share, comment, and subscribe VNR Digital Learning Resource YouTube channel.